Hey everybody, hope y'all are doing well. So I'm in the studio today. Actually get pretty much a full day in the studio. Yay! Um, so I run, my main computer is a Mac Pro 5.1, one of the 2012 cheese grater Macs. I love it, but I think like a lot of other people that are in studios running these old Macs, we're kind of like in a between a rock and a hard place right now. Sorry, it seems to be I'm holding my camera. I haven't eaten breakfast, so my hand must be shaky. I've been doing this keto diet, and I kicked myself out of ketosis last night by accident, so my body feels a little weird today. Anyway, like I was saying, a lot of us, I think, are frustrated with Apple right now because, it's the early middle of 2018. They've told us the new Mac Pros are coming out in 2019. We don't know anything other than that. So we're kind of stuck with these old 2012 computers unless we want to get one of the trash cans, which, have benefits. But anyway, long story short, I know a lot of people have moved to PCs even, and then a lot of us are kind of like holding off, waiting to see what happens in 2019. So I've been in that position. I've been, pricing builds with PCs and all that. And I realized that I'm running a 2.66 gigahertz 12-core system. And I didn't know, due to my own ignorance, that you can actually bump the processing speed of those. You can put in new CPUs in those. So I actually ordered these CPUs, these Intel 5698s, pair of these, and so these are 3.46 gigahertz, again 12 cores. So I'm going to be able to bump up my 12 core from a 2.66 gigahertz to a 12 core 3.46 gigahertz. So that should be a considerable bump in processing speed, and I'm hoping that's going to get me through these next 6 months as I wait to find out what's going on with the new Mac Pro. So that's what I'm doing today. So my first step is I'm gonna load up one of my big Cubase projects that I know is too big to play on my current Mac Pro without freezing a whole bunch of tracks. So I'm gonna load that up, gonna see where I'm at with the CPU, and I'm gonna start freezing tracks until it will play. And I'm gonna make note of how many tracks, which tracks I had to freeze. And, I'll take some screenshots of the CPU usage and all that. And then I'm going to swap out the CPU, both CPUs, and then see where I'm at with that same project. And my dream, my hope, is that I will be able to open that project and run it without having to freeze any tracks. If that's the case, I'm going to be a happy camper because that's pretty much like my template project. And so if I can run my main template project without having to freeze or bounce to audio, I will be stoked. So I'll be back here in a little bit with how things are going. All right, folks, I'm back. So I've got a template project here. It's from the last song I just finished. So let's see. This is, I've got, if I scroll, this is about 130 tracks right now. This has probably another 80 tracks or so that are disabled and hidden. So, we're looking at we'll just say like a 200 track project. So I opened this up. It was playing fine with just audio. Excuse me, because this song, I already bounced it all down each track to audio because I couldn't play it. But what I did is, when I bounced them, I would bounce them down and then disable the MIDI and then just work with the audio. So I opened the project and played just the audio, and it played fine. It was, all the way up to the top of the CPU meter. Let me pull that up here. Sorry, I'm kind of like doing this with two hands. Okay, yeah, there's our CPU meter up there. So it was around there, about this, what is that? Probably about 85% maybe. But then I went ahead and started enabling the MIDI tracks and disabling the audio. And you can see how the limit that I push it to my computer currently is the very first MIDI track that I enabled I was no longer able to play the project. So, so there we go. That was my limit. So what I did is I went ahead and enabled, I think, about 3 or 4 other MIDI tracks, and then disabled the audio. And so if I push play on this, I'm surprised it's lasting this long.
The lion can't be told where to go. The lion's
So you can see it's all the way at the very top.
The lion can't be told.
Oh, well, now it's not going to stop on me, is it?
Follow its path. It will always follow its path.
Oh, you know what? I've got CPU compensation on. Turn that off. Hold on real quick. Well, ironically enough, it's running fine now, so that's great. So I can show you, I'll go ahead and start enabling more MIDI tracks. So you can see how this first CPU is really hitting pretty hard. The way Cubase does its CPU handling, you know, it's all the plugins and everything that go onto one track are being processed by one CPU, and then when that track goes into a group, that's all like a single CPU, right? So basically I had been enabling all tracks from the base group, so that's why it's all hitting. So if I come down here, it should, if I start enabling things from a different group, that CPU process should get split a little more. So I'm going to enable this Nexus. This is one of the pads. I'll disable the audio. Let's go ahead and enable this ambient one. I believe this is Omnisphere, if I remember correctly, which uses a lot. Can't remember if it's Omnisphere. Let's see. No, it's another Nexus. Let me disable the audio. And then, let me see. Okay, our females. These are some contact ones. I'll leave those right now just because they're all grouped. There's Dune. Enable that. Disable this one. So with these 3 more on a different CPU, let's see how it handles. It may still handle fine.
The lion can't be told where to go.
Okay, yeah, it's still good. It's the irony, right? As soon as you turn the camera on, everything works great. It's a perfect computer. Let's see here. Okay, there's some more MIDI. Let's enable that guy. This is just a test template right now. I have my other one. Okay, there we go. Now we're running into problems. So what was that? That's a Serum. Yeah, Serum uses a lot. Okay, so let's disable this. Because remember, we're not only enabling the synth, but enabling all the plugins that are on each track. So like this track, you know, looks like I only have Saturn enabled on that one. Let's see. Okay, let's bring up another. Let me find some stuff that uses a lot. I think this is another Nexus. Nexus isn't too heavy, really, in my experience. You can hear when I enable the MIDI and still have the audio enabled, it's cutting it out, but I'm kind of wanting to, my goal in all of this is to be able to have my MIDI be unrendered so that I don't have to use the audio. So if I can get it so my template works, you know, in the MIDI, then I'm happy. So that's kind of why I'm disabling this audio still. So let's see. Okay, so even though I had just hit the limit a minute ago before I turned the camera, right now I haven't. So I'm going to go ahead and not make you just have to watch me do this. I'm going to go ahead and turn the camera off, get myself to the limit, and then check back in. Okay, folks, I'm back. So I went ahead and enabled all of my drum rack stuff, which is, you know, a ton of stuff, and disabled all the audio, and we are well beyond the point of the computer not being able to play back the project. So if I hit play now, you know, it's quote unquote playing, but you can see it's pegging out. It doesn't even let me clear it. We are seeing a lot of red. Now, one thing I don't know enough about is I'm seeing what I guess is CPU 1 really showing me a lot of red. What's interesting is see how we have like a lot and then a little, and then I'm seeing a pattern, right? There's a lot and there's a little, there's a lot and there's a little. So for some reason the load is not being spread very effectively on every other one of these, and I'd like to know why. And also, you know, like I said, number 1 is showing me a lot of red. I don't exactly know what red means in this. I need to Google that, because our peak up here is pretty close on all of these. So you know, we're well past the point that I'm able to play this track right now. You can see I'm still getting the VU meters are fairly responsive. The computer itself is fairly responsive, but obviously I can't play. So that's a good place to be, I think. I'm going to save this. I'm going to take some screenshots, and then I'm going to swap out the CPU and reopen and see where we're at. Stay tuned. Just a quick update, folks. I before I swapped out the CPU, I wanted to build like kind of a test template. It's not, you know, the thing I don't like about these test templates is it's not very reflective of like real world. But I did think this was pretty interesting. So what I did is I created a blank contact track. I also created a blank serum track just with just the basic sort of sound that gets loaded right at the top. And then I created a blank audio track. I rendered the serum track to audio and then created an audio track. And then I put a instance of FabFilter, the Pro C2, on each of those tracks. So I ended up, so the reason I did that instead of some of these sort of test templates where people just put on like one insert and then duplicate it as many times as possible, is this is a little more real world in that I have a sampler track. Now it is a blank contact. I didn't load a library because I'm not really trying to test the memory here. So I loaded you know, by having a sample instrument, a synth, and then an audio track, and then I have that compressor plugin on each one. It gives me a little bit more of a real world. So I've gotten up to 296 tracks of these, and it's just a little 8-bar loop. I've actually reached the point in Cubase here, for some reason it's just not, as soon as I try and add one more synth track, it just crashes Cubase. So I'm kind of at my limit, but it's pretty high. And what I found really interesting is, check this out. Look at how evenly the distributed CPU load is on this. I thought that was really wild. So, you know, that shows me that sort of real world cases where you're building up tracks, you know, you don't necessarily have the kind of equal distribution, because what I was saying about groups and all that, and but in this case where it's like really evenly spread across all the tracks, then Cubase does open up or does equally distribute everything. So, you know, if I hit play here, oh good, it is kind of cutting out, so that's a good thing. So you see I'm like really hitting every CPU. It's across the board. And let me give me a second to get my, so my meter's there, and so I'm pegging out. So good. So a second ago it wasn't, and now it is. So I'm going to save this as well as a project and kind of see where we're at with it. I have a feeling I won't be able to load any more tracks, but okay, now it's playing. But you see, I'm like right up here. So it'll be interesting to see where I end up once I do the CPU upgrade. Okay, I think I'm now finally ready to do this upgrade. Hey everybody, all right, I'm back. Super excited. Okay, so this will be in a couple videos. Here is that one Serum big, anyway, here's the one that I just did. So you remember when it was pegging up here, we were way up there and it was cutting out and all that. Check it out now. We're right here. We're at like what would you say? That's at least a 35% decrease. Check out our CPU usage. Still spread out. You know, still hitting it pretty hard, but I mean, it was all the way up here, you know, and now it's not. So tremendous improvement on this one. I'm gonna go ahead and open up the other one with all the MIDI instruments. Okay, everybody, so I'm loading up this project. We're gonna witness this together. I don't know what to expect, you know. I mean, honestly, I'll be shocked if it actually plays it without me having to freeze at least some files, because I unfroze probably, well, just in my drum rack alone, there's like 16, you know, synths and contact instruments. So 16 plus the basses and pads. There's probably about 30 pretty heavy MIDI and instrument tracks that I have unfrozen from, you know, when it wouldn't play before. So basically I'm adding about 30 tracks here. So, you know, we'll see. It takes time just to load the thing, but I figured let's experience it together. So as far as, you know, how, let me try and turn the camera around. As far as how the actual installation process went, it went really well. No problems at all. You know, the Mac Pro, it's really designed well. So I had, you know, just had to use the Allen wrench to take off the big heatsink blocks and cleaned off the CPUs and put on some new Arctic Silver and all that stuff. So let's see. Cubase, I might have crashed. Yeah, Cubase did crash, so it happens before. I mean, it happens. Let me try and open it again. Uh-oh, the fear. Here comes the fear. All right, I'm gonna flip it back around. Reopening Cubase. I'm gonna go ahead and pause this, and I'll start it back up before I push play. Okay, here we are. The project's open. Like I said, anyway, enough. Let's see what happens. We'll see what happens here. I'm hearing sound. Let me see. Let me see why it's so quiet. Oh, I just. Holy shit! It's playing. Let me check the CPU. So I'm still like pegged way up there. So it's gonna cut out at any second, but right now it's playing. Here, check it out. No, it's on the acid synths, which are the heaviest synths. So very impressive. It actually played. Holy cow. I have a feeling if I played it a minute, you know, it'll start cutting out because it's right on the edge. Let me get to a part where it's heaviest. That is actually the heaviest. Let's see. Sorry, one-handed. I gotta. CPU. So let's take a look here. I'm going to play it and I'm going to take a screenshot. Pardon the phone's going to move a little bit. Hold on real quick. Okay, so I just took a screenshot while it's playing to just kind of get an idea of the CPU usage here. So let's see. Let me open up this other screenshot. Oops. Sorry. I took a few, so let me I know where we're at. Okay, that was not it. That's not it. Okay, so let's see. This was, yeah, okay, here it is. So here's the screenshot. It's only showing me, oh, okay, I see. Sorry. So I've got a dual monitor, so it looks like it's doing, it kind of split them both. So here's one. Let me open up the other one. Hopefully the other one came. Yes. Okay, so here's the other one. So let's take a look. So, it doesn't look that different from here. Let me actually resize this to be the actual size so we can kind of get a better idea. A little hard to do, I know. Here, let me try and move this down. And kind of I'm trying to move these so they're the same size, and then we'll better be able to kind of compare how they look. Oh, it only wants to snap. Maybe it'll let me do this. Yeah, no. Well, we're gonna just have to go with what we got here. Here's a way, kind of making it the same. So, yeah, I mean, that actually shows the same little peak there, which is good to see, and then drop. So, it's a little less. It doesn't seem to be hugely less on here, but it plays when the other one didn't play. So there's that, right? I mean, look at that. This is way less. And for some reason, these seem to be a lot more equally distributed. Let me open this up. There's definitely some, every other core is still getting less. But yeah, fascinating to me. It seems to be a lot more distributed on these sides. You see these? Okay. Well, anyway, hey, I'm happy because I've got, it's not, it didn't cure all my ills. Looks like I'll still have to freeze some tracks, but looks like I have way more leeway than I did. Let's check it out again. Play this. Hold on. Look at our average load here. Here comes a break where the synths are pretty heavy CPU coming up. Not bad, not bad. I'm thrilled. I mean, for $400, compared to having to build a PC, which was going to cost me $4,000, which I'm sure the PC would give me way better performance than this. That's the point. But this will hopefully see me through the next few months so that I can see what's happening with the newer Mac Pro. All right. Hope y'all like this. Bye.